Welcome everyone to another episode of the world's greatest news and reviews.
Giving you opinions about nerd stuff is our superpower.
I'm Captain Mal.
And I'm your boy T Crawler.
I'm Weapon 2, and the Bloodshot movie's coming out from Sony. Is Vin Diesel going to be Bloodshot or Blood Phony?
He's going to be Blood Phony, sir.
Oh,
well played. I like that one. And thank you for joining us on episode 14 of the world's greatest podcast. And if you're watching on the YouTubes, you can see that once again we have another special guest. Greetings, sir. Introduce yourself.
I'm Korgoth.
Korgoth, welcome to the show. Are you excited?
Very.
You sound excited.
Very excited. Very nervous. Yes.
That's cool. We'll get right into it. And now you're just.
I'm nervous too. You're not the only one.
So Korgoth, where's that from?
It's Korgoth from Barbaria.
Barbaria? Was that a game, book? What is that?
That was a cartoon on Adult Swim a long time ago.
Like in the 50s?
It was in a previous life of his.
Well, welcome to the show. We're excited to have you.
Thundor?
Thundor?
Thundor the Barbarian?
No.
Okay.
Right. All barbarians are the same, I think. It's all the same shit.
It was one episode.
Oh, really? Okay.
Wow. Some real obscure shit here. Deep cuts. But you actually came up with a cool list. We are going to do our top 5 video games of all time. This motherfucker doesn't even screw around with genre, decade, and he's just like, nope, all time. I'm like, cool, that's going to be easy, especially for Weapon 2, the big gamer over there.
Yep. Can't wait. Gonna be good times.
I think he's wearing the shirt from it.
I'm gonna be slaying it.
So yeah, that'll be the bulk of the show. Will be the countdown. We'll finish with a game of this or that. We'll give you a few news stories, but as always, we are gonna start with shout-outs. T. Krala, take it away.
What's up, everybody? So we're going to start with our top fan. Sweet. We have top fan. I don't want to butcher this name.
You want me to do it?
I want you to do it.
All right. So top fan Uriel Lago coming all the way from El Paso, Texas.
Nice.
Top fan for 3 weeks.
3 weeks for
Congrats.
Lower Valley
Wow.
represent. Thank you, sir.
that. We have Jared Huttenstein. He's
Way to go.
Also in 3
Yeah,
weeks.
Jared.
Yeah.
Way to go, Hut.
We have Amanda LaCroix. She's new top fan.
Welcome aboard, Amanda. Thanks.
And our last top fan for this episode is Jamie Noble Carl.
Yeah, Jamie
All right,
Noble.
nice, Jamie.
By the way, speaking of the top fans, if you guys missed the posts that I made on the Facebook pages, if you maintain top fan status for 6 months, TWG will purchase you a free TWG logo t-shirt of your choice. Either the old logo,
free?
new logo. It's free $99. I mean, I'm paying for it, but it's free to you. That's the important part. And I think a few people are at 5 months now, aren't they? We'd have to look to see who it is. I hope nobody magically gets reset. But it's like 4 at once would be rough. But yeah, so those are our top fans. T-Crawler, what else we got?
All right, so here's some shout outs for some newer people that are following us now on our. This is from the Facebook page. We have Katrina Jackson, Noelle Goldman, and Deborah Farabee Shoop.
Nice.
All right.
New followers.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
New citizens in the world's greatest.
That's
Welcome.
right.
Yes, TWG Army just keeps growing.
Keeps growing.
Facebook page, the Instagrams, the YouTubes. I like it.
All right, so from there we go into.
We're going to do some news.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
news? What are we doing?
How we go to what are you into?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Okay, yeah, what are we into? You call do it. Let's cut that right out.
You okay?
Are we starting with me?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. All right, this is what I'm into. This is what's going down with Weapon 2. I am still watching Little Lucifer, the television show, and I am also catching up on. We're almost at the end of Preacher, and I'm also doing a little Altered Carbon. Yeah.
Oh, have you never seen that
Yeah,
before?
I just started. No, I've just
it's so
started the
good.
next season.
God, it's so good.
yeah.
Oh, the new season. I haven't started it yet.
The new season's out.
I'm waiting on someone, but whatever.
All right, so
That's it, T. Crawler. What's going on? What you into? What you
So
into?
what I'm
T. Crawler?
into is I was watching some of Lucifer. I paused that and I'm dabbling back and forth. I'm trying to finish up the last season of Preacher also, but I got into the Tick.
Oh my God!
There's
Nice.
Stop
Way to
pandering.
go.
Dumb.
Nice.
So I wasn't here for the last podcast, but I listened to it, and I heard that they kept saying that Hellstorm was like the only Tick fan out there. I think I'm a fan now. Like I like Tick. It's funny. It's quirky. Like he's oblivious to a lot of things. He's just a funny character. Like so, looking further into it, I didn't know the one that I'm watching came out in 2016. It's like the newest one. It's on Prime, Amazon Prime, and but they had the people know about the cartoon that was out, the series. But Fox also had a Tick series back in 2001 for only one season though. So if I could find that out, I'd like to watch it just to compare them. But this, you have Tick, a big blue guy. He's like, he's at this point in the season, he's oblivious to, he's just this superhero, just over the board superhero. And he comes across a guy named Arthur, who he's trying to make into a hero also. He's almost, and Arthur is making it adamant that he is not a sidekick. So it's, he gets this suit, and he's still trying to figure out how to function this suit. And he pretty much looks like it's a moth or whatever. So, and like I said, it's funny. It hits a lot of the tropes for superhero stuff, but like in a really funny way, but not over the top funny. I think it's so far I like it. I'm liking it, so that's what I'm into.
I would like to make an official claim of shenanigans. I don't think you're watching the Tick. I think you're just saying this to pander to the webmaster, so that way you get more favorable posts on the Instagrams.
How dare you?
And your blog gets featured more prominently, and I say this is all conspiracy. Nonsense.
But you ought to check out the Tick comic books, though. Those are cool. That's where it all
There's
started.
comic books?
Yeah, they started
Yes.
from comics.
shit.
That's where it all started, bro.
Yep.
You learn something every podcast.
New England Comics? Yeah, New England Comics, where it started out.
All right.
Sweet.
Just looking at that too.
Nice. All right, I'm up to a few things right now. I am still actively making my way through Letterkenny on the Hulu's. And that was a long time coming for me.
Still making your way through that?
Yeah.
Pitter patter.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get into it, so much so that on the lost episode of the podcast, I say lost because we don't know where it is. It's in the ether somewhere. Our former producer has it.
I know where it is.
Yeah, we know where it is. We're never gonna get it. They kept making all these Letterkenny references, and I didn't get it at all, to the point where I was getting frustrated. But then I watched the show, and now, like, to be fair, now I get it. It might be one of the funniest things ever, but you have to watch it with subtitles because like their accents and their slang and everything, it's crazy. So I'm making my way through that. That's really fun. I finally started The Witcher.
Oh yeah.
That took me a minute.
Seriously?
Yeah, I know. Shame.
Jesus.
Fantasy is not really my thing. But you would think like this would be up my alley. Like I love Henry Cavill. Like I've heard the fight scenes are really good. The production quality is really good. All that. And I will say I really did dig the first episode. It took me a couple tries to get through it. Not because it was bad, but just because like I had other things going on. I realized you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
Because like I would be doing other shit and then I would look at it and be like, wait, what the fuck's going on? And like I was like, well, this seems interesting. And I will say the first episode felt like a season finale. Like all of a sudden there's like a battle going on. The castle's getting sieged. Like Queen Chick's dying. Spoilers. Like all this shit's happening. Like there's this awesome fight like at the end. And Henry Cavill, I want to say like the way he was fighting was really cool. He was actually using like legitimate techniques like half swording and shit like that with his long sword. Yeah. Like shit that like you don't actually see in like fantasy shows because they don't give a shit about realistic fighting. No. But he was actually like doing disarming techniques and like I said, half swording and like really cool. He was fighting like almost for real. You know what I mean? I was just like, so I appreciated that. Yeah. So I'm only on like episode 3 trying to make my way through it because I know these guys really want to review it. And to their credit, they really haven't been bugging me about it. But I know they want to. I'm also kind of running back through Black Mirror. Like not kind of like I need to go through all of them, but just going back and rewatching some of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So if you guys know Black Mirror, that's an anthology series. Every episode is its own individual story. So if there's one you really don't kind of dig, like it doesn't matter. You could kind of skip it and just go on to the next ones. If you guys are curious, comment down and ask me what episodes are my favorites because I literally have a list of the episodes I recommended people to watch that I think are really good and do a great job hooking you. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm up to now.
That Witcher though, that's with Henry Cavill. It's cool that you said about what you said about the fighting techniques because from what I've been reading and looking into, like he gets into like his character roles and with The Witcher, he's a big gamer. And I read that he was almost late to his very first acting interview because he was in the middle of a WoW raid. He's a big gamer. He said if he could do anything, he would love to sit at home and
priorities.
But he doesn't look like that type. But he loves The Witcher. He loved the fact that he was cast for that role, and of course he just went all in.
Didn't he push for them to use more magic and shit like that in the show too? He actually like wanted it to be very authentic.
Just like you, I'm not much into fantasy, but because it was him, I looked into this, and the only other real fantasy thing I watched and loved was Game of Thrones.
Yeah, me too.
And you got me onto that one, so yeah.
Except for the last season.
Hey, that was
Oh,
okay.
boy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Korgoth. What are you?
What are you?
into?
I was gonna start a long conversation. Yeah. What are you up to?
Well, I just started the Hunters.
The Hunters? What's
Oh,
that?
I heard about that. How was
It's
that?
it's Nazis living in America.
I started watching that too. I dropped off a little bit, but I got distracted.
It's a
But that's
great
good.
series.
It is
It
good.
is a great series so far. But the Jews that survived the Holocaust, they're going after the Nazis.
Oh wow!
And they're
that's
killing
right.
them.
Trailer.
They're hunting them down and killing them.
So it's set in modern day?
It's in 1977.
Okay. Word. Well, that sounds like an intense.
What
one.
is it?
The opening scene.
Amazon?
Am I right?
That's on Amazon.
Amazon.
The opening scene says everything you need to know about that show, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, spoiler. What's the opening scene? What happens?
Spoilers.
Do you want to tell them about it, or do you want me to?
Are you talking about with the chess pieces?
No, I'm talking the opening scene when they're at the barbecue and at the politician's house, and the one lady starts pointing at him, yelling Nazi.
And she starts saying butcher, butcher.
Yeah, so it's just he's obviously a really rich senator or something, and he's at a really fancy house, picturesque yard, swimming pool, tons of friends there. He's sitting at the barbecue flipping burgers, and this girl just starts pointing at him and starts yelling, Nazi, 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 butcher, all this stuff. And he's like, what's going on to you? I don't know what you're talking about, and he to everybody. And then she just keeps doing it, and she won't stop. So pretty soon he just pulls out a gun and kills everybody in the yard, including his own family.
Including his kids in the pool.
Yes, everybody, including his own kids, everybody.
They're floating around in the pool.
Basically says, hey, I'm just going to start this over. They call a closer who comes and shoots him in the shoulder, and then the news story is somebody came and murdered his whole family. He barely survived.
Wait, what fucking network is this on? Holy shit, I might have to watch this.
Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
What's it called?
Yeah.
It's the Hunters.
The
The
Hunters?
yeah.
Holy shit.
It's good, man.
Wow, okay. That was probably the best. What are you up to? In terms of this? Are you doing anything else, or is that...
Dracula. I finished that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we mentioned that Lockjaw mentioned that on a couple of episodes ago, but she said like episode 3 it falls off hard. I think you said that too, right? Weapon 2.
Yeah, I kind of felt
And
that
I
way
liked
for me. I liked the way it started.
So what
and-
do you think? Is it?
The first couple episodes were amazing.
Right, yeah.
And then it kind of trails off. I don't like that it's only, 4 episodes?
3.
So it's a miniseries.
It's only 3.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. Just 3 episodes. It's crazy.
Yeah, it needs more.
It trailed off, but I could see where they're going because they're going more modernized. To see what Dracula would do in this modern day, like how he feeds, he uses tinder and apps like that to actually
That's what
feed
would
on.
Yeah,
it.
happen,
So it's cool to see him in just the modern world. So yeah, the first 2 were amazing. Like I agree with all you guys with that one, and then the third one, I see where people would say it trails off or drops off a cliff, but it's just I can see where they're going with it, where they're just trying to bring Dracula into modern day and show again, like I said, how he would feed, how he would interact with people. And how he would use this modern day version of Igor, to help him, help him with this kind of stuff. So,
And it's kind of funny that it's lawyers.
yeah,
Nice. Anything else?
Always the Boys.
Yes.
I've
Oh,
watched
can't wait
that
till season
3 times now. So.
check out our review of that. That's amazing. The teaser looks really I like that the teaser comes out, has no dialogue, but still got me super hyped and excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something to watch.
I've
over
been
and over
to
again.
3 different comic book stores now, and absolutely nobody carries.
What?
No, nobody
Seriously?
carries them anymore.
It's they're sold out. You can't find them anywhere. I went to buy some and found like one trade paperback left, and then that was it. There's nothing left.
Yeah, I even went to that obscure one there in Leavenworth, and
Yeah.
the guys, I can't even get it.
Damn, that's the popularity of the show is what that's speaking to. But yes, great show. I love that. Can't wait for that to
Season
come back.
So the ones you
coming up.
have are probably worth a little bit of money now.
Yeah,
Nice.
wish I could say that about another comic book.
All right, anything else?
happy.
No, not really.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, that is what we are up to now. And now
Now,
it is time for the news. And so I was a little eager because I kind of want to talk about this. So it's usually my responsibility to come up with news stories. I mean, if I can't find something or there's something particularly they want to talk about, they obviously throw stuff in there. But I usually try to find a few. And these last couple podcasts, I've been struggling to find relevant stuff to talk about. And it's almost like Matt Reeves hears me, because then he just starts releasing shit about the Batman to piss me off. Most recently, the Batmobile got released. And it's funny because friend of the show and guest star on the previous episode of our podcast, Kal-El, sent me a message with pictures, and it was like, the Batmobile. And I just took a quick glance at it, and I thought it was just some car that like some rich dude kind of modded and like made look kind of like the Batmobile.
I just thought it was like a car outside his house or something.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's freaking awesome. And then he's like, I sent it to all the admins. And I'm like, well, why would you do that? And then I was like, oh, shit, that's the real Batmobile. Okay.
Look like some off the Fast. Somebody said Fast and the Furious too, right?
Yes.
Didn't you think it was something they were doing or something?
Yeah, I posted a meme I didn't make that I stole. That was just like, it was a picture of Batman standing next to it. I'll put both the pictures on camera if you're watching on the YouTubes, on screen, I mean. And it was just like, I really don't know what the fuck's going on in the Fast and Furious franchise anymore. But, okay, so I'm not going to bitch about it that much. Korgoth? Is that one? No? Nailed it? Yeah. What do you think about it?
I personally like it. It kind of reminds me of a Mustang.
Does kind of look muscle car,
like a 70 Mustang, kind of. The rear engine is kind of weird in it, but
it looks very exposed.
Yeah. That and the whole West Coast Customs building it.
Did they really? They built it?
Yeah.
Well, that explains a lot.
Pimp that ride.
It's like zip.
That's what I gathered from what I read on it.
Somebody compared it to the old classic Batmobile.
Well,
that
yeah.
Adam West one, you know.
Well, not only that, but in Batman Year 2, I believe the Batmobile looks very reminiscent to this. It looks kind of like a normal car that he modded.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to point out, just because something is from the comic doesn't make it good.
True.
So I as you can't tell, I'm not a huge fan. Like, it looks neat. It looks like a neat car. Doesn't look like the Batmobile to me.
But the original, come on.
The Adam West one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Barris car.
Yeah, but I don't think that
best.
looks super badass either.
Yeah, it is.
Come on now.
I'm sorry, you guys
What's
are
your
older.
favorite
Yeah, it
Batmobile?
is.
What's your favorite Batmobile
My favorite
right
Batmobile, the BVS Batmobile. Because, okay, so I grew up with the Michael Keaton Batmobile.
Yeah.
And then I really love the practicality and functionality of the Dark Knight Tumbler Batmobile.
Yeah.
And I feel like the BVS Batmobile is the two of those just kind of merged
that's my
together. So
favorite
that's
one, too.
why I really love the look of that one. But I get it. You can't do the same thing over and over and over again. You got to try to make it different and make it stand out. We inadvertently also got a great look of Robert Pattinson in the Batsuit in this image also.
I still don't see any sparkles.
It's nighttime. The only sparkle in the
Yeah.
sun.
And I'm not impressed with the suit either. Weapon 2, what do you think about all this?
I don't know what to say. I mean, we're gonna see. This movie's gonna come out sooner or later. We're gonna see what this is all about.
Your tone says excitement.
I don't know what to think. Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
I'm always curious about what these movies are gonna be like. I mean, even if I'm gonna hate it or I like it, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what this is all about.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This does less than nothing for me personally. T-Crawler, you on the same
Yeah,
page?
it didn't do anything for me either. Honestly, when I first saw it, it just immediately reminded me of the Ghost Rider. I think it's Reyes. It's the newer Ghost Rider. He drives around in a muscle car. I'm not sure.
He doesn't have a
exactly-
bike anymore?
No.
That's Ghost Driver.
So.
So simple. Nice. Okay. So yeah, mixed reactions from us. And again, like anything, just looking at a still image, you can't judge it. You have to see it in motion. You have to watch.
You got to hear it.
Yes, you got everything about it. So maybe like we'll watch the movie and it'll 100% work, and just Pattinson will suck. But that's
a given. Yeah.
yes. But yeah, that's it for the Batmobile. Weapon 2, you actually found these next couple stories. So if you want to go ahead and lead those.
All right, just two things. I don't know. It's some weird things are there's a big shakeup in DC where what's his name? Is it Bob Didio or whatever? Is that his first name? Bob? I don't remember. But he's one of the main publishers and Didio, D-I-D-I-O. And he's a main publisher. He's one of the people who
Dan Didio
did one of these. He was in charge of a lot of the crises and the revamps and the rebirths and all this kind of stuff. His newest one was going to be 5G, which is Generation 5. He wanted to make all of the characters that we know in the roles old and he was going to put all new youngsters in the mantles of all of our characters, and the board of directors in Jim Lee said, dude, we got movies coming out, and we depend on these characters. You fired. So he doesn't work for DC anymore because he's just taken a little too far. I guess he's always been kind of a maverick. So I mean that's what happened, and so I guess Jim Lee's in charge for now.
So Hank, if you guys don't know what he's talking about in terms of like redoing and rebooting stuff, so in comics, it's not uncommon that every 10 years or so there's some big multi-issue, multi-character event that happens that kind of like resets continuity or changes continuity. In DC, the most recent one was called Rebirth. Before that, it was New 52. Marvel does it all the time also, where it kind of like resets and changes what its main continuity is. So that's what Weapon 2 is talking about in terms of like he's been, usually with DC, it's titled Crisis, is usually what happens when it triggers a change in something. So what Weapon 2 is talking about is like the main canon, the main actual storyline, the main universe would have had everybody been super aged and just brand new characters. And so like that is actually like, if that's an Elseworld story or an alternate universe, sure. But like your main canon can't be that. That's fucking crazy, right?
Right. And everybody agreed with you. So the other big story.
Do you think that's harsh to fire him right away though? Out of nowhere?
I think, well, there was a kind of a coup. And who's the, is it Snyder? Who's their other big writer? Snyder?
So you got Jim Lee, and isn't it
Zack Snyder?
Zack Snyder?
No.
Is he one of their big writers? Who's their other big writer?
Jeff Johns?
Jeff Johns.
Yeah, Jeff
No,
Johns
there's
is like
another.
executive.
There's another. That's not him. There's another one that's a big writer in there. There's kind of a coup. This guy had, I guess, had some bad blood with a lot of people
Scott
there.
Snyder?
Scott. Maybe it's Scott Snyder. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking about. But anyways, there was kind of a coup. So it wasn't like, hey, everybody thinks he's great. He's doing everything wonderful, and now we're going to fire him. I think there was like, this was like your last year.
Some shenanigans were afoot.
Yeah. The other big story for Disney is Bob Iger, who is the biggest thing for Disney since Walt Disney himself. He helmed all of the acquisitions of Fox and Marvel and Hulu. Anything else I'm missing?
Lucasfilm,
yes, Star Wars franchise. He helmed the acquisitions of all of these things.
Several multi-billion-dollar franchises.
Created a huge conglomerations and powerhouse of cinema and entertainment. And he was supposed to be retiring in 22 months. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden he said, I'm done. I'm out.
Just walk
done.
away.
I'm out.
Wow.
Chapek or whatever, Bob Chapek or whoever's taken over for him, who was in charge of their theme parks and stuff like that, and division, and now he's in charge. And I don't know if people know how big a deal Bob Iger was, but I mean, I think he was going to run for president at one time, and he's a super powerful guy in entertainment. So the abruptness of this, I guess, is the weird thing for me. Not that he was like, yeah, I've done a lot and I'm going to quit. It's like I was planning on quitting in 2 years and I'm quitting today.
Yeah, and then, like in all the research that we did trying to find out why, nothing was ever said. It was just like his quote was something along the lines of, it just, all the pieces were in place, so it was time, which is weird. Like, why would you just, right? Like, if nothing's wrong, if nothing's like
something's going on.
Unless it was just money.
But wouldn't you think you would stay and like make money because like you're getting paid to do the job? Right?
I guarantee that guy's getting paid more money than you can imagine.
Yeah, he has so much money it doesn't even
matter what?
Anymore.
That's the equivalent of saying, you know what? I've got too much money. I don't really have anywhere else to put any more money. So I'm going to have to stop taking money. That's basically what it is.
Well, so here's part of it. So it said that for the last 3 years, he received between $66 million and $72 million.
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
And the new CEO is going to get about 25. So they probably wanted him out of there so that way they could pay the new guy less money.
Okay.
But again, like
Yeah,
you're
I
right,
mean, because
money-
Disney's hurting for money. I mean, geez, they don't have any money, so
Really hurting.
yeah, it's really hard to come up with that for those.
You see,
for
this
those
is weird.
folks.
Like trying to figure this out, it's hard to remember. Oh, money doesn't matter to these people. Like it's just it's some arbitrary thing.
There are scenarios in this world where money doesn't matter. None of us will ever
Yeah,
see
no,
that.
like, we're
but-
never gonna feel that. Yeah,
No, ever.
that's all I think about.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, so two really interesting stories going on in the world of comics and like huge media people, and yeah, just interesting shit. Like
Yeah.
that I want to know like why this is happening, but they're being rather tight.
Maybe it'll come out in a tell-all book.
probably
There's a memoir.
probably a Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
Is more likely.
Disney Plus.
Disney. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
What really went down
Yeah.
by Bob Iger.
Awesome. So has anybody else got any news stories they want to throw out?
I
Nothing?
do not. Nope.
No. All right. Well, that was the news, and I think we are going to move on with our top 5 countdown. All right. So, as we stated earlier, Korgoth here is going to make Weapon 2 talk about video games, and I'm not going to lie, I've been genuinely looking forward to this because I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say he's not going to have a single game past 1985 on his list.
Oh, that's easy. That was an easy one.
But
Probably.
do you
Yeah.
feel like starting, or do you want to go last? Because we'll go like around the table, like you go 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, that thing. So do you want to go first or last every round? We let the guest decide.
I'll go first.
You want to go first? Yeah. Awesome. Korgoth, what is your number 5 video game of all time? No genre, no decade, all fucking time.
My all-time number 5 is probably going to be Space Quest.
Space Quest.
Yeah, it was made by Sierra,
Okay.
and it was put out on older computers. So it was pretty digital, like Pac-Man. Not even...
Oh, like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Pixelated.
Old school,
Yeah,
pixelated.
very,
okay.
very pixelated. Graphics were kind of crap.
What was it about? What was
But
good about it?
There was quite a few of them, actually. But it was just a guy that was trying to get through different quests.
Space.
Yeah, in space. But it was a building block for things to come. Really, really good video game for 1985, whatever it was.
It says between 86 and 95 the series came out.
Yeah. So it kind of was a stepping stone for other video games, Leisure Suit Larry, all those other video games on computer.
So it kind of paved the way for a specific genre of video game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was kind of like a pick your own quest kind of thing.
Oh, like a choose your own adventure?
Yeah.
So like decisions you made would go different paths on the game?
Yeah.
That's kind of innovative for something way back. Like
Old.
games now struggle to do that. So
Yeah. And I was playing it on like a Tandy 1000.
Ooh, Tandy 1000.
Yeah.
Killer.
Awesome. All right. Good number 5, sir. Okay. So this is very hard for me because I struggled between picking games that were what I considered relevant and did things like you just talked about, like pave the way or like set up a genre or did things to elevate, certain things, or versus games that just I really liked and that I really had fun with. So as such, I kind of got a weird combination of shit on my list that isn't really going to go well together, but screw it, I leaned more toward games I liked. That being said, my number 5 is Mario Kart 64 for the Nintendo 64.
Nice.
So I don't care what your kids say, no Mario Kart is anywhere near as good. Yeah, I played Mario Kart 8. There's a lot going on. I'm too old. I can't handle all of that sensory overload. Mario Kart 64 was simple. It was precise. It was fun as hell. You could play it, like, it didn't matter, like, if you've never picked up that controller before and you just started playing, or if you were, like, a badass in it. Everyone could have fun. Everyone could have a great time. I just want to say a big fuck you to H. Dresden, friend of the show. Never been able to beat him in that game. Anytime we get drunk and bust that out, I could never beat him, and it drives me insane. But that game has been the cause of almost more, like, fights in, like, real life, like, just nerd rage, throw the controller down and attack your buddy in real life.
That's
then,
when
like,
you reach
any
over
other
and
game.
pull out his cord.
Yes, and that you're gonna get swung on. Like that's some real shit.
Yeah, that's
so. And also Yoshi, it's the way to go. That's the character. So yeah, my number 5 is Mario Kart 64. T. Crawler.
My number 5 is kind of like you. Mine are all over the place, but most of them are just kind of just my all-time favorites. It just really were fun to me, and I played quite a bit. So my number 5 is Mario 3. I love the Mario series when they first started, but Super Mario Brothers 3 was my favorite by far. It came out back in '88. So, but that one, like, I love it. I just recently put out the miniature Nintendo, and my wife was playing against my son, and she knew all the little tricks and to get behind this and that, and he's like just crazy wigging out, like, how do you guys remember this? So he doesn't realize, I told him back then we didn't buy as many video games as you do now. Like, there's no digital, like, oh, look on the little digital store and buy a game right now because it's there. Like, you had to wait for your parents to go to the store and either earn your allowance or wait for them to, like, with me, reward you with a game or something. So you didn't have as many games, so you played the game that you had over and over and over and over.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, Mario 3 was awesome. Plus, that was the one where Mario flew. You got the leaf and you flew, and it was freaking awesome. So
I think that of the original NES Mario games, that's far and away the best one.
I love it. Yeah. So that's my number 5.
Nice.
Weapon
2.
All right, folks. My number 5. Very few experiences in life are going to give you the real life, firsthand experience of the stress, the thrill, the adrenaline of being an actual real life, firsthand Formula One race car driver. Okay.
Nice.
Now, shout out to Hailstorm. This is pole position. Now, this thing will put you in the experience. You feel like you're really, really a Formula One race car driver. You got the stress, you got the pressure. You got a whole race team dependent on you. They're counting on you. You're racing against the clock. You get the experience of going really, really fast. You might die. You don't know what's going to happen. I was always hitting billboards and running off the road. I just couldn't handle the pressure of it all. It was almost too much for me to handle. The fear. I don't want to burn alive in a race car. That's all I have to say. That's all I got to say about that. Number 5, pole position.
I remember that one.
Boom, folks.
What played, sir? I was trying to look that up the entire time you were talking, and then I got the image at the end, and I remember.
You know where I'm coming from now, don't you?
Now, no, the stress and the tension, it's all there, right there with you.
I know what it's like now to be a Formula One race car driver.
Nice. All right, number 4. By the way, I just want to point out, Korgoth, I love your style. No notes. Doesn't even have his phone out. Fuck it. He's all up here. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
I can't do it live like that.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, nice work. Way to go.
I'm kind of going along. My 4th one is probably going to be... I had to go back and forth on this one. Ivan Iron Man Stewart.
Ivan Iron Man Stewart?
Yeah.
Here's one obscure. Okay. What in the actual fuck?
It was an arcade game, and it was almost like pole position, but you were inside of a stadium racing against other people. So it's almost along the same lines. You got to figure out you were...
Oh.
Nice.
Okay.
The arcades, especially the off-road.
I like simultaneously. We're like, oh, I know exactly what he's talking about now.
Yep.
God, do you guys remember arcades?
Oh, man, yeah.
Fuck, those are fun.
Arcades.
I remember arcades.
So sad.
Yeah.
Gone now.
I remember
Okay,
before
good pick.
arcades.
He remembers penny arcades.
He's like, I remember when we had to go outside.
That was like the first actual driving game I ever
Pinball
played.
machines.
Pinball machines. There you go.
Over the top view. Yeah, that
Tilts
was
going
crazy.
on.
Nice. All right, sir. Shit.
That is awesome.
Damn, you're gonna beat Weapon
You
2
guys
with
will
the
be
old
able to
school
see
games.
you guys will be able to see the picture when
Yeah, everything that we're
See where
reacting
I
to
went
on
over.
the world's greatest laptop, I will throw images up. So, yeah. All right, nice. Damn, nice pick. Okay. So, again, like I said, my list is wildly different, and it's going to go all over the place. My number 4 is Shadow of the Colossus, 2005,
Nice.
PlayStation
Oh, okay.
2. This game was also remade for the PS3 and the PS4, and I think both of those fell flat. So Shadow of the Colossus did something that not a lot of games do very often, but it's something that keeps bringing me back to them. And it reminds you that video games are a form of art, and they can tell an amazingly beautiful story. And this story is incredibly basic. It's essentially just 17 or 19 boss battles, because all it is like you're a dude, Your girl's dying. You get on a horse. And you're trying to track down these like 17 colossi. That's the plural form of colossus. I actually looked this up. And you go and you try to find them, and you don't know where they are. There's this vast open world that you're just riding around on horseback, and then you're like, oh, like you lift your sword up and it flashes the beam of light to point you in the direction. As the crow flies, there might be like a lake or a mountain in your way, and you have to figure out how to get there. And then as you're walking around, you're like, well, it says I'm here. Where is it? Well, there's a mountain right there. And then you turn and look, and the mountain's fucking moving. And and the thing that this game did amazingly well is capture scale. You would be looking up at this massive fucking thing. Some of them were armed with like gigantic swords, and like they would swing, and it would start off looking like super high and slow, and you're like, oh, well, that's way for holy shit, and then you gotta jump because it's coming down. Like some of them, their steps would knock you around and make you jump off. So then it becomes a platforming game. We have to climb these motherfuckers and like jump like across their back and shit like that, find their weak point, which oftentimes on their head, and just start knifing the hell out of it until you kill it. And some of them are like birds, some of them are like lion-looking things. Most of them are just like really big, like humanoids. Jeez. And the game is intense as hell. And like when you find it and you start the platforming aspect, like the music that starts playing just insanely hypes you up, and like you try over and over and over again to kill these things. And then the game takes this hard turn. When you finally manage to bring one of these things down, you should be excited. You should be happy.
Absolutely.
But then it cuts, and it goes to this slow-mo shot of these things falling and plays the most hauntingly heartbreaking music you've ever heard. And then you realize you just killed something like ancient and elemental, and that'll never be around again. And like you just realize like what you did was not good. Like you're fucking. It's like if you're walking through the woods and you see a unicorn, like a real unicorn,
rips out your soul,
and then you shoot it in the face, and then you're like, oh, why'd I do that? It's like that was probably the last one. Yeah, and then
Can't
you're
let the meat go to waste though.
And then you're just like, oh, but my girlfriend's still dying. Guess I gotta go kill the next one. And it's just flipped because it's this vicious cycle of making you like excited and energetic and like wanting to fight and adrenaline's going, and then you feel like a dick. That game has always stuck with me. I truly believe that is one of the greatest video games of all time, and a great example of how video games can very much be art and not just slashy, shooty games all the time. So Shadow of the Colossus, PS2, 2005, one of my favorite games of all time.
That was beautiful. Yeah, nice work.
Wow. All right.
Thank you.
My number 4 is a game that I don't think a lot of people have heard of, and I love this game because I had a system that not a lot of people had. But growing up at that time, I was in Colorado, and only a few of us had this game system. It was TurboGrafx 16, and it was this huge 16-bit video game system that came out, and it used these little cards that would slide in, and it was different than Nintendo, and it wasn't quite at the disc portion of video gaming yet. But the game, my favorite game on that was Bonk's Adventure. And Bonk was this little caveman with a huge head, and he would bonk things with his head. Reminiscent to is like Mario. There's their version of Mario. It kind of drove their system. But he would, instead of mushrooms making him big, like pieces of meat would fall down, like I don't know, like little ribs.
Sorry, I don't.
For those that aren't seeing this, we're laughing because Captain Mal just pulled up a picture on the World's Greatest Laptop, and it's Bonk's Adventure with a side shot of Jason Statham. Like
I don't know if this
Same
has
damn
happened,
head.
but Hollywood, can we make this happen? Because holy shit.
But yeah, so he gets bigger and more angry when he eats meat, and he's just this little caveman, and he goes around destroying stuff, and it was fun, man. It was fun. I played that again. Back then, we didn't have a lot of games. Played it over and over again, and it was on a game system that only a few of us in my school had, and we were, so we had just this little group of guys that would play this. Later on, I know Game Boy had a version of it. Nintendo took it and took some of the TurboGrafx 16 games because it didn't last very long. They never made another system, but yeah, it was just a really fun game. It was I don't know. I remember just days after school, I'd get home and just start playing that game. So, yeah, that's my number 4.
Nice.
Okay, number 4, folks.
Take us back in time.
Fellow space travelers of the universe. In this one, you're alone in a spacecraft in the cold, vast, void, emptiness that we call outer space. This is asteroids. Nice. You're out there. You're alone in this spacecraft, and can you have a problem-free voyage? The answer is no.
No, of course not.
You have asteroids coming at you from every direction. You don't know what's going to happen. You're shooting them, but they keep breaking into more smaller pieces,
just keep
coming at you from every direction. one of these pieces hits you, you're dead. You think is that enough? No. There's aliens and flying saucers coming out. They're shooting at you. You still have the asteroids coming all around. You know what happens? You never survive. You die at the end. Spoiler. Okay. That's it.
You die at the end?
Yeah. Everybody dies at the end.
Okay.
Nobody has anybody ever played that game? Are you still playing it? No, because you died. Alrighty.
I believe you have won this argument. Holy shit, sir.
You die. Spoilers. Okay.
Even our live studio audience is cracking up at that one. Well played.
God, jeez.
Sorry, Korgoth, you got to follow that.
I don't even.
Number 3.
My number 3 is going to pale in comparison to that one. But it's still paving the way for future video games.
Okay, what you got?
Prince of Persia.
Nice. For the PS2. Fuck yeah. That was okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Fuck, that was good.
I actually played it on computer, and it has to be one of the best adventure games out there for that time period.
Yes.
That paved the way for a whole bunch of different video games.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
They damn near copied every single portion of it. It was part of my childhood. It's what I grew up on. It was a great video game.
It was so yeah, you're right. It did pave the way for like 3D kind of like adventure platforming games that actually still had a good story to it.
But when it first came out, it was literally 2D. You couldn't turn. It was just straight like Contra. You just
shit, you're going like the old one.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I was thinking about the 3D. So you're right, that was a remake.
Right.
My bad. Yeah, it was. Holy shit.
Yeah, that one you just had to go.
So you're going even older school.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
Like I thought you were going old school. You're going even
The oldest school?
the oldest school. Motherfuckers in preschool over here.
I'm 40, all right?
Prehistoric school.
Okay, fuck. That paved the way even more for the same kind of fucking genre. So.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's good.
Good
I
pick.
like that was a fun game.
That was really cool. Well, I never played that one. I played the other. So I played the one on the PS2.
Ah.
And I like that one because like you could reverse time when you get the sands. And
Yeah,
shit. And so like when you fuck up a platformer thing, like you misjudge your jump. I don't have to like throw my controller at my TV. I can just rewind it. It's like that 1 year Madden had the rewind, but when you throw the pick and you're like, oh nope, bringing that back.
In one play, you can do
But
that.
you still throw your controller.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
I just calm down and then I'm like, oh yeah, I could rewind it. This is why I don't have nice things. Nice pick, sir. All right, my number 3. So this is a franchise that's super popular. Another member of our illustrious team is a huge fan of it, so it might be his favorite ever. And this is far and away, undoubtedly, without argument, no contest, the best one. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is the best Grand Theft Auto game, period, dot, end of story. And I dare say T. Crawler is going to disagree with me later on the list with the newer one, with GTA 5. And the argument I'm going to make for GTA, I don't know his list, I just know my boo. So the argument is, so Grand Theft Auto started as like a over-the-top, kind of like downward view of, running around killing people in 1 and 2, right? Grand Theft Auto 3 reinvented the franchise and thus created a genre of like open world like action games where you could do whatever you want with no conscience.
Map.
Yeah, open map. It was amazing, right? Vice City like up the bar. San Andreas destroyed that bar. For the PS2's capabilities at the time, having 3 separate cities that were all larger than what Vice City or Liberty City was on themselves, all connected with like woods and desert and all that, and like an amazing story that was actually incredibly written. Like that's the thing about every Grand Theft Auto game. Is there actually like a really cool story with like interesting characters? Yeah. Might be a little sexist, but like still like really, really interesting characters. And I remember that game was just so immersive. It introduced new gameplay elements in terms of like customizing the character. Like you can go work out. Like every time I turned that game on, I had to go to the gym because I had to work on the gains. My guy was like jacked to shit, but you could like just go eat fast food. Yeah, and you get fat as shit, and then you start running. You'd have like a heart attack, and you would die. And so like that, and then like the gang turf thing that you could do, like where you're trying to like take over the other territories and stuff. Like everything about that game was awesome. It even tied into Grand Theft Auto 3 because that dude has a cameo like in it that was really cool. And I just think like in terms of immersion, in terms of like that was my high school days. I would just remember coming home and playing that for like hours. My dad's like, go outside. I'm like, you don't know me. Like so like it was,
Make me a PB&J.
it was
Give me some Kool-Aid.
it was super fun. And don't get me wrong, I really love Grand Theft Auto 4. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 is phenomenal, but nothing is quite hitting the bar of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It is truly the greatest Grand Theft Auto game of all time. T. Crawler.
Number 3 for me is I love the Call of Duty, most of the Call of Duty series, but Modern Warfare 3 was by far my favorite Call of Duty. Most of the Call of Duty campaign are really like the storylines are really awesome to play. But this one multiplayer was awesome. This is one where I really got into the online gaming like a lot. Like I was playing on PS3. And then I had a friend of mine who was trying to get me over to Xbox, and at the time I was calling it the dark side. I was like, I won't go to the dark side. And I was refusing to pay for online play after paying $50 for a game, blah blah. But at the time, PlayStation showed that hey, Xbox, their gaming is more smoother. You don't get lag, you don't get kicked, you don't get your accounts hacked, Sony. So Xbox showed that it was worth
like every other weekend. Shit got
it's
hacked.
like it was worth paying for it. So anyway, so I paid that, and then it literally after work you get a bunch of guys from work on a lobby, and you're playing against a bunch of other people online, and it's just kind of a lot of times it just blew my mind that you're playing with people from all over the world. You don't never know where they're playing, and it really just kind of kicked you in the nuts when like a group of 12-year-olds kicks your ass in the game, and they're talking all kinds of trash and like. But in general, it's just fun. It was a really fun game. And then I see most of the Call of Duty series because a lot of them when they started going futuristic, and a lot of people
Jumping
didn't
from
like
building to building.
a lot of jumps and all these little futuristic weapons and stuff. A lot of people didn't like this. So now the newest Call of Duty Modern Warfare, all the series is just confusing with the naming, but the newest one, Modern Warfare, is actually again fun. It kind of brought it back, and I've been playing that recently, but it's again, it get away from all that futuristic stuff, and it kind of got down to the just like the I don't know, just again it made it actually modern. It wasn't like futuristic.
Which is crazy that it did that because like Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was the first one that got away from the World War II genre.
Right.
Like that's all it was. And I remember like my favorite Call of Duty would have been that's probably an honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
And I remember this like the graphics on that, and it was like this modern day. I was like, holy shit, that was so good.
Yeah.
And it's funny that like this did what that did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just they went too far the other direction, crazy future shit. And they're like, no, let's go back to like what worked and what was awesome. So
And
I haven't played that one yet. It's pretty good though.
The new Modern Warfare is
Yeah.
really it's really fun. It's really fun. And then that one's like the first time the Activision Call of Duty, like you can go cross-platform. I'm playing online with people that are playing on PC and PlayStation, and I'm on Xbox. So it makes it even more fun because you're playing with a whole group of people from. Now they just broaden just opened up the whole world of gaming to like the multiple
That
platforms.
is super awesome. That should have happened for a long time.
Yeah,
I don't know
I mean,
if I'd want to play with someone on PC though.
I know they have an edge, but it's Minecraft started a while ago. Actually, Minecraft did that, and then of course Fortnite came out. They started doing the cross-platform. I'd have my son and his friends. They're on different rooms playing on different consoles, and people playing on phone are playing against people on different consoles. Like they really did the cross-platform really well. But anyway, so this in particular one, Modern Warfare 3. That came out in 2011. Really, and one of the main things is because my son, when he was pretty young, but he was like getting into gaming. There's a mode on there, survival mode, that I could play with him, and just waves of soldiers would come, and you had to have a strategy to get through these waves of soldiers. And he and I would have a technique, and we would play, and that was a lot of times when we would play a game, that was the one we liked to play together. So, Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty is my number 3.
Nice.
We all know our planet's going to be attacked by a more advanced species of space alien.
Sensing a theme here.
This game's called Space Invaders. In this game, you are either the only person on the face of the earth that's defending the planet, or you're just your only person in your fighting station. But what you do is you feel alone. You're all alone in this thing. You're shooting some kind of a laser cannon at the invading horde of aliens attacking. They keep coming. You shoot them. the minute you think you're getting the upper hand, they start coming faster. More of them, they're coming faster. Spoiler alert, you die at the end. Along with everybody else on the planet. Everybody dies. The aliens kill us.
Is anybody else noticing a theme with Weapon 2's
Die at
list?
the end, like
Aliens murdering everybody.
like Atari doesn't want you to win.
Also,
it's like you're gonna die.
I never got to the end of that game. Fucking spoiler alert.
You said spoiler alert.
Space invaders.
Fuck.
Is there any game on Atari that you actually win at the end?
I don't think
know.
so.
Okay.
Korgoth.
Frogger, maybe?
I never got that far. I made it over the street once, and then a fucking crocodile got me. I didn't know there was like extra shit after you crossed the street.
Do they have a border one?
Hey, I would have nailed it. Okay, Korgoth. Leave that alone. Number 2.
Let's see here. Number 2, that is going to have to be Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six,
Which one?
Vegas.
Okay, good.
I love the Vegas one. I played it for a while till my system broke. Rainbow Six Vegas is one of the best Rainbow Sixes they have. They kind of screwed it up once they started going on, but I don't think they haven't made one since then.
Yeah, they've made a recent.
They've made they like in the last few years, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it did very well.
Not like
but-
this though.
Probably not like Vegas. No. They have a new one that came out. This is I hear my son raging upstairs with his
Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah,
But that's the one where you put up shields and you
probably
blow
all
a hole in
future-y
the wall.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. You got drones. You got that little thing you can roll out. It's just not the same.
So what about Vegas? Also made it good. Was it just the gameplay? Like it was more tactical, not all crazy over the place?
Yeah, it's more of an open world. You didn't get funneled into certain areas, and you could actually go and explore different areas to get to the very end. You didn't have to be planned out.
It wasn't as linear as they are now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Now, is that one you can play by yourself, or do you?
No, you can play that one by yourself.
Okay.
God, who was the first one to do it? Was it Call of Duty that took away the single player campaign in one of their games and it was just multiplayer?
Yeah.
I thought it was
it might have-
Titanfall.
Well, Titanfall did, yes,
was
but
stupid.
I paid for $60 for half a game. But I think Call of Duty did it, or maybe it was what's the other Call of Duty rival? Battlefield. It was one of those did it also, and that's when I was like, well, now we're never getting that back because Jesus.
Yeah, they brought it back, so that's what made this new one fun. They brought all that stuff back.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, nice. All right, so Rainbow Six. Oh no, Vegas.
Rainbow Six Vegas.
Rainbow Six Vegas, yeah.
Nice. All right, good pick, sir. All right, what are we, number 2?
Yep, number 2.
My number 2 video game is all time. So if you followed this show for any length of time, and I hope you have, you know that I'm kind of like a casual passing fan of, Batman. And Batman has some of the greatest video games of all time. He has some real shitty ones too, but the Arkham series is fantastic.
Yeah.
Arkham Asylum came out and was better than anything I ever could have possibly imagined in a video game. That game was great. You wore the cape and cowl. But the sequel, Arkham City, you were the goddamn Batman. That game was better than Arkham Asylum on every conceivable level. Obviously, my number 2 is Arkham City. That game made you feel like Batman. They opened up like a big section of the city. They incorporated a new gliding mechanic that lets you like fly around with the grappling hook where you could traverse the entire city without ever touching the ground. The combat system incorporated his weapons, his like tactical skills and gadgets and everything to where you could literally, I remember there was a specific scene where you turn a corner, you're trying to find the Joker, you go down, you open a hallway, and you see about 24 guys all armed to the teeth with like tasers, batons, knives, guns, and you stop for a second, you're like, oh shit, and you're like, I'm Batman, and you just mow through every single fucking one of them. It has almost every single notable like member of his rogues gallery. You encounter Mr. Freeze, you encounter the Joker, Harley Quinn, Scarecrow. Some of the Scarecrow sequences are fucking amazing in that game. There's all kinds of Easter, like after you beat the main campaign, there's so many like Easter eggs that you can go and try to find. Like there's custom costumes and all kinds of shit. Like Arkham Knight for the next generation was very, very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I feel like Arkham City is, I think what most people would agree, far and away the best in the series, the best Batman game of all time, and arguably the best superhero video game of all time. We'll see what T. Crawler says later.
Is that the one where it opens up where Scarecrow has he just put his poison on the whole city, and they all get the Gotham is pretty much evacuated.
Yeah, I think that's Arkham Knights. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Right.
They opens with where it opens in the diner where
Right,
people.
yeah.
No, that's Arkham Knight.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Which is also very, very
No,
good.
they're
They're all good.
the
To be
Arkham
honest,
series
the whole
is
thing.
freaking
Yeah,
awesome.
play all of them. They're all fantastic. But if I'm picking one to be my number 2, Arkham City. Nothing made me feel like the Batman more than Arkham City. So that's my number 2.
All right, my number 2. For those that know me, almost every list I have has to have some kind of Spider-Man reference, right?
So Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse is your second favorite video game?
I didn't know there was a video game called Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Well, no, not Into the Spider-Verse, guys. But Spider-Man for PS4. Spider-Man, that game is that was the only reason I would even want a PS4 was because I've gone over previous. I said Xbox was the dark side. I've gone over to the dark side, and I've stayed there for a while, and it's not so dark. But anyway, I went and I was actually surprised on Christmas. I got a PlayStation with the Spider-Man game, which was freaking awesome, and I played the crap out of that game. I think I played that game more than I played any game for a long time. But that one gave me an understanding of why, along with Captain Mal here, my son has been a big time Batman fan. Matter of fact, Arkham Asylum came out. That was the first game release that we stood out at GameStop and actually I ever went to. And I took my son, and they had a costume contest, and he was dressed up like Batman. He won the costume contest, got the strategy guide.
Raising that kid right.
Oh man! And I took him home. He had school the next day. I took him home and went back and got his strategy guide. Left it on the table in the morning, and underneath the game we had got for him. Right, so. And he was just opening the book, reading because in the back of that strategy guide had all the enemies that told you about everything. So he got really into this Batman character. So those Arkham games, and you guys as fans, when you play those, and he would go back and do everything in that game, get all the riddles and all the everything. With the Spider-Man, I understood that, and I did that with this game. It's one of the few games I actually finished 100%. And I finished the main game, then I started getting the expansions. So Spider-Man gets you're like he said. As the Arkham series puts you in a Batman like Arkham City. The Spider-Man, you're Spider-Man. You're Peter Parker, and you're going around saving the city. And you come across Spider-Man's essential his rogues gallery. You come across all the enemies that are in all the comics. So if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're gonna love this game. It's open world. You're swinging through the city. You face all types of different bad guys. You come across. You actually in the city they have everything that you would see in the actual Spider-Man world. You have the Avengers Tower or building, whatever that Avengers big building is. You have Stark Tower. Or that would be the Avengers building now, isn't it?
Yeah, they also have the Baxter Building. They
Baxter
had
Building, they have
Alias Investigations.
Yes, they have. I mean, there's a lot of Easter eggs in this game. It's freaking. It's so fun. You open up all kinds of different suits from the different the multiverses. So, and of course, when Into the Spider-Verse came in, here's where Into the Spider-Verse comes in. They have a lot of. There's a scene in that movie where they're in that cave and you see all the suits, and they have a lot of those suits in that game. So it just kind of incorporated, and then Miles Morales is in the game also, and it's the storyline is awesome. It's just a really fun game, and it was hard for that not to be my number 1, but I mean it's definitely my number 2, and I would say for me is by far the best superhero game ever made. Very closely to Arkham, because I'm like I said, Arkham series is freaking awesome. So
I feel
gotta give you that.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna lean toward who's your favorite character.
Right.
Is it Batman or Spider-Man? Because like you just said, that made you feel everything I felt about Batman. This made you feel for Spider-Man.
Exactly.
So
now I think they just need to make a good Superman game.
No, seriously, can that happen? No, because the Warner Brothers keeps talking about making another Arkham game. That's great. Can we have a Superman game? Because the Superman 64 game was garbage. Does everybody remember that game? That game was terrible.
I remember that game.
God, it was
Horrible.
so bad. No, but a real Superman game. Fuck,
That would be nice,
amazing.
yeah.
Yes, can we do that? Henry Cavill, make it happen.
All right, that was my number 2.
Nice. Weapon 2. What aliens are we fighting off now?
All right, you're an adventurer. You're traversing through the jungle, experiencing all types of dangers and perils in search of treasures. Are you Indiana Jones? No, you're Pitfall Harry.
I want to say Korgoth called it. He was like, holy shit, Pitfall.
Nice.
I mean, this is scary. You may have paid for your whole seat, but you're only going to need just the edge right now, because these are the types of hazards you are going to experience. You're going to experience quicksand, folks. rolling logs, fire, rattlesnakes, scorpions, and crocodiles. Gets scary. What are you searching for? Bags of money, gold and silver bars, diamond rings.
Was it?
Jewelry.
So, I mean, I know how you guys feel when you say you're playing as Batman, and you feel the attachment, and as Spider-Man, and it makes you feel that that's how I feel about Pitfall Harry. Okay.
I didn't even know he had
So
a name.
you
That's
feel
awesome.
like that guy?
What's that?
Harry,
You feel like that guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like that guy. All right.
I love his list.
Take it away.
I love your list because that's when I first started playing video game. My friend had an Atari. So
There you go.
Man,
Bringing it back.
I feel like this one kind of paved the way for everybody to fear quicksand.
Yeah.
They made it feel like it was going to be a bigger part of your life.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just thought I would walk outside and fucking quicksand might be a thing. You
I
have to be
mean,
prepared.
there was a lot of movies and television shows where you thought you were going to sink into the quicksand, and if you think back at it, that's terrifying. There's nothing more scary than that.
And also, this might be one of the original platforming games. Like, talk about innovation and, like, paving the way. Like, that's very rudimentary now, but back then, like, that was some shit. That's three crocodiles,
They should
man.
remake Pitfall.
Yeah.
I think they did.
You don't want to be eaten by crocodiles.
No, or quicksand.
None of that.
All right, we are getting down to the greatest of all time. Korgoth, you're number one.
The greatest game of all time. Skyrim.
I fucking knew it.
Oh,
okay.
Skyrim. That's a good one.
You just made a lot of people who follow this page happy.
Skyrim has to be the best video game ever made. The whole open world, you can pretty much do damn near anything in that game. Anything. You can steal from people, you can sneak, you can buy houses in that game. You can fix up a house, you can build a house. You can do anything.
You can fight a fucking dragon.
Yeah, you can fight a fucking dragon. You can fight a troll.
Anything.
It is one of the best video games ever made. Bar none.
The only reason I never really got into that, because I have friends who are really
Because you're
into it.
wrong.
No. Because it is such a time investment. There's so much
Trust,
hours.
I have thousands of hours.
No,
into that.
exactly. And I don't doubt at all. I would too. But I would never see sunlight. Like, I would never go outside again.
Yeah.
I would watch friends play that. It's easily like a game you just get all immersed in, and I could easily get addicted to that game. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll watch people play it. It's even fun watching people play it.
It
It's
yeah,
like,
actually, it is kind of fun
you
to
do
watch.
it, like
yeah.
you said, you can do everything in there. So
I literally just played it before I came over here.
Just to get right back into the mindset. Nice. Skyrim. Yeah, that's going to be hard to argue with.
Yeah.
So.
Graphics, gameplay, everything.
And graphically, like, it's held up because that came out several years ago, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's an older
Yeah.
game already, and
Yeah.
it's still fun to watch somebody play it.
And they're coming out with another one.
Like an add-on, or is it a whole new game?
No, it's a whole new game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's interesting. Sweet. Damn. Good pick, sir.
Yeah.
All right, my number one, totally different game. It's not Skyrim at all.
Halo.
You want to take a walk? You don't know me. You don't know me at all. What? You taking a guess? Take a guess, T. Carla. What do you think it is?
I was going to, but I don't know. I was going to say Halo.
Okay, and you're guessing Halo?
Halo 3.
Halo 3? Okay. You motherfuckers don't know me. It's Halo 2. Halo 2 is my...
I knew it was going to be a Halo.
Number
not
one
which
of all.
one.
So here's the thing. I love all the Halos. And the reason Halo is an innovator of the first-person shooter genre. So, like, where games like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark kind of got that genre established, Halo took it to the next level. Halo was one of the first killer apps, like one of the first video games that you would actually buy a console for solely to play that. And I'm a huge fan of storytelling and like single player campaigns in a game. Like I don't care so much about multiplayer. And the storyline in Halo is as good as any sci-fi movie I've ever seen. It's immersive and gets you into it. The lore that like follows it is like, it's one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced. So much so, back in my formidable years, I was a Sony guy. I was a PS2 guy. I was not about the Xbox. And all my friends back in El Paso, Texas were about the Halos. And I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. And I remember quite vividly the first time they talked me into playing Halo 1. I was walking around Blood Gulch. I remember the map. And I was like, well, this is kind of neat. Like, I don't get what people are saying. This is so pretty. And I looked down at the grass. And at the time, every other video game, grass was just a green layer of paint on something.
Yeah.
And I looked down.
Like that.
Yes. and there was each individual blade of grass showing. Now, it's not like now where they're like swaying and they're actually there. It was just like a painted on thing. But still, and I was just like, holy shit. From there, I played the game. Like, I traded my PS2 to my buddy so he could play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and I could play Halo. We loaned each other for a couple weeks. I was hooked. Since then, I've been an Xbox guy. Xbox 360, Xbox One. I'm going to get the new Xbox X, whatever it's called. I don't even care. I don't even play video games, but I'm going to get Halo 6. Halo 2 is some of the funnest, most fondest memories I have with my friends playing that multiplayer. Back before you kids don't even know, before the online multiplayers was a thing, we would bring TVs and Xboxes to somebody's house, set them up in different rooms, get a hub, run cords through the fucking house to plug into that and play, and be screaming at each other from like across the house.
Halo parties.
Yes, it was the funnest fucking thing ever. The gameplay is amazing. It's fun. It's innovated over the years. But Halo 2 to me is the perfect combination of what was a great single-player campaign, probably the best multiplayer in the series. I might argue that I think Halo 3 is a better overall game.
Yeah.
But Halo 2 is really what got me into it, and that's the one that stands out to me as the best in the franchise. So my number one video game of all time, Halo 2. Come at me in the comments. T. Crowler.
All right, well, here we go. My favorite game of all time.
Can I take a wild stab in the dark? Can I guess?
You said
Can
it
I
earlier.
guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
GTA 5?
GTA 5?
That's right.
Okay.
GTA 5. Like this is the second, and I think the last time I stood in line for a game at a GameStop waiting for the midnight release.
I did that for
Oh
Halo.
my gosh, this game was awesome. So, like you said, Grand Theft Auto 3 had the open world, and I remember that one because you could do for that time. You could do at that time anything like stealing cars. And the big thing about that, though, it was such a violent game. It could be a violent game, depending on how you played it. But there was certain political figures that wanted to get the game banned from shelves. I bought the game before having a system to play it on. That's how much I wanted to play the game because I played it at my friend's house. I love the game. He actually let me borrow his PlayStation for a while so I could play it. And I actually bought the game before I had the system because I was in fear that they would actually take the game off the shelves because a certain political figure wanted those games because they're so violent. All you did was kill cops and kill hookers and all that stuff. But there's more to the game than that. So, what are you gonna?
You did the same thing with Grand Theft Auto 5 when it came re-released on the Xbox One. You didn't have one yet. I did.
Yeah,
you bought it and left it at my house so you could play it when you would come over. That's how much you liked the game.
I love the game, man. So I've had every Grand Theft Auto since 3, and I love San Andreas. It was awesome. And everything he said, he touched on everything. And the reason that this one is by far my favorite, it takes San Andreas, and no, you don't have 3 different cities, but the map is just massive, and it has everything that when I see a game, it started with Liberty, or not Liberty City, but Grand Theft Auto 4. You're in Liberty City, and just the graphics and how everything looks, the sun shimmering off the water. At night, like just there's different shadows
physics.
And everything about it. So Grand Theft Auto 5 took that to a whole nother level, and that took it to where San Andreas, I mean, it was PS2, and they did awesome for what you were working with. But as you're driving, things would show up as you drive. In Grand Theft Auto 5, you see as far as your eye can see, and everything is there, and it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. And in this, it's like Skyrim. You can buy houses or businesses and run those businesses. You can remodel your businesses. You can't necessarily build them from the ground up, but you can remodel them for different things. And they still, to this day, I still play it because they still add new stuff, new downloadable content that's free. And they keep it to where it stays fresh and people want to play. And if you go online now, there's still massive people playing online. And with a game like this, you thought it would just be crazy online, but they did it to where if you acted crazy and started blowing everything up, and they don't do that so much now, but when it first came out, they would kick you from that server and put you on a server with people that would play like you. So you would reappear in a server with a dunce cap on. I remember they put a dunce cap on you because you're just doing crazy stuff, right? You just appear in a lobby or server with a dunce cap on, and then in the background, if you start off in an apartment that you have or whatever, you hear a bunch of explosions. So people are playing like you just played. They're blowing everything up, and it's just like, okay, asshole, you get to go play with a bunch of people that are playing like you, and this is how it is. But now it's fun. It's just a lot of times you have a lot of missions to run. It's a game that I could literally play for hours, and it's so crazy because I remember back in the day when we were playing it, like I could tell people where to turn in the city.
No, okay. Okay, no. This was ridiculous. Okay, so the map's huge, right? And so, like, you're running from the cops. You got to try to make it to, like, a safe house or to, like, a paint spray to change the color of the car. And so a normal fucking human person has to pause the map, find one, put the waypoint, and then follow the map. No. This dude, he's like, no, hang your next left, take a right. Okay, go over to the pass 3. Okay, next left. He would just
That was
fucking
his own personal
know.
GPS.
I was like, what in the fuck? He had the entire shit memorized.
Make a U-turn.
It was ridiculous. And also, I came home one day, and he was playing it. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, well, I just bought this this new business, and I'm working out, like, the business model in order to increase my revenue. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, at what point is there too much realism in a game? Like, Jesus.
It is so real. Now it's even more. You have bunkers and different drug businesses. You
were going to say business.
Business, yeah. I call myself. Ghetto's about to slip out. But anyway, and also the gameplay, the story mode for this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
This is the first time you play 3 different players at 3 different times, and you can flash from one player to another. And it's fun because those players don't just sit still. You would transport from one player, you pick another player, and it would go an overhead view, and it'd bring you down. And one guy, Trevor's a crazy meth head, just crazy guy. He
Puking
would
in
be
a fountain?
in the middle of a fountain,
Or,
half naked,
like,
or in the middle of
a gunfight.
Gunfight.
And you're like, what the fuck?
Or police chase. You never know with him. Like, there's just really crazy times that you know, when you go to Trevor. So, Franklin, Trevor, and Mike, and these 3 characters it's just, they end up connecting together, and you do this big mission at the end. But it's a fun game, fun online. It's I still currently play it. I'll log on to, like, see what my business is doing. I'm a club owner. I have a couple drug businesses.
You had a medicinal weed store. Yes, you did.
But it's just fun.
That's an annoying business right there.
Because it's multiple games in one. Like, you can play team deathmatch in there. You can play, like, racing, because you can race in there. You can play team deathmatch. You can play survival. All kinds of different game modes in one game. You can modify your cars, paint them, armor them up.
I remember the first time I walked into a strip club, Britney Spears was playing, and I was like, hey, it's like they know me.
Yeah, I mean, everything's pretty
And then I
real.
threw
Like,
Molotov cocktails
you
at the
can't-
strippers.
You can't touch them because the bouncer will throw you out.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things you can do in this game. It's really awesome. And so that's I could talk forever on this, but back 2013 is when it came out, and still play it today. And it's still
Hundreds
fresh.
of hours.
Yes. Oh yeah, by far. And
I bust your balls about San Andreas. 5's the best one. I've never admitted this out loud to him directly, but I have nostalgia for San Andreas.
You have a map that big to where you can fly jets and actually have a dogfight in the air because the map is so massive. Like, there's different jets, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, you have it in the water. The ocean is vast, and there's sharks out there, so you can't fly. You can only go so far.
There's whales.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. It's crazy. So, especially for a console, I play on Xbox, but then you can do obviously more stuff when you're on PC as far as mods and stuff like that. So
some of the mods are fucking hilarious.
they are.
By the way,
They're hilarious. Some of them are really awesome. The way they put them together. So, by far my favorite game. It probably will be for a long time coming. So.
Until Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I'm waiting.
Please come out with that soon.
Yeah, no, I'll probably buy that too. Can we do that? Could that happen soon? Like, all right, Weapon 2.
Sounds like a lot of fun, folks. I just hope you guys have filed your video game taxes appropriately, because like the Wu-Tang Clan, the IRS is nothing to fuck with.
Did you just think of that? Holy shit.
Yeah.
You're a genius.
That's
what he does. You guys are talking about these businesses. We're doing all this business. All right. There's a downside to business and making money. It's called taxes, folks. This next game I'm going to talk about, it's a maze game. The original Japanese title was Puckman. This was a problem because they were worried that some your random goodniks would vandalize the P and turn it to an F, and they couldn't have that. So in this game, you're running from ghosts. They're chasing you all around the maze. You're eating little dots. I think there's some fruits you eat along the way.
A lot of fruits. Yeah. Power pellets. Yeah.
I mean, you're basically running scared, trying to get points along the way. But let me tell you, folks, you eat a power pellet, and this is when it gets good. You flip the script on those ghosts. The hunters become the prey. And for a limited amount of time, you can chase them down and do them in. They turn blue, and they're running scared for a while. This is Pac-Man, but spoiler alert, you die at the end. Game over.
Every fucking one. Well played.
Every game, you
Every
die
game.
at the end. Good going, Atari.
I think the latest game on your list was 85.
Probably, I don't know.
All right.
Way back there.
So honorable mentions, I have Galaga, Resident Evil 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Tetris, Super Mario World, and Shenmue. Anybody else got any honorable mentions?
Maybe Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong, the original.
The original. In the arcade.
I got
Nice.
Mike Tyson Punch Out.
Nice, that was fun.
XCOM Enemy Unknown. It's like a turn-based video game with aliens and soldiers, and that one was cool because it almost made my top 5. But that one, it was cool when I first came out because you can name your soldiers and train your soldiers, and so I named them after people I know. So when you go out in battle, like you don't want certain people
Is that
to
the
die.
one that had like the headset and like you give them the commands, like you talk to it and it would go do shit?
No, not that one.
Shit, what was
I know SOCOM Navy
SOCOM.
SEALs. that.
So calm.
Yeah.
That game was fucking
That was a
hard.
good game.
That was a good game.
Fuck, that was hard.
When they first
God, why didn't I think of
introduced
that?
That was good. But no, this one was you just had different players, like aliens had taken over the world, and now you have to go out and destroy, like certain cities get overrun, and you take a ship to this, and you have a team of 5 people. And you have like different types, like a heavy assault guy, a medic, blah blah blah. And I would name them after people I know and like train them up, and like I didn't want certain people to die, so I would like keep people back at the barracks to get like healed up and stuff. And it got pretty intense a couple of times. So that was a fun one. That was an honorable mention for me though. But Punch Out, XCOM Enemy Unknown, and Sid Meier's Civilization. Sorry, that's another game. I like a lot of games where you build stuff up, and that one you get to go through the different eras of time.
Like Age of Empires.
Yeah, so you start off as Napoleon. He was one of those. Genghis Khan was another one. Shaka Zulu, those African warrior. They have all different. Alexander the Great, and then you build these armies, and you go up to modern world, civilizations, and you're playing against different computer AI civilizations and stuff. So it's pretty fun.
That had the whole ages, like the Iron Age.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Just like like Age of Empires. Like I played Age of Empires.
Yeah.
And I got the first
a good
one.
one,
I
too.
got really into that. Like to the point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna play for another half hour, and I was like, oh, it's like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I should go to bed.
Yeah,
Shit.
those games, man, they get you.
Yeah.
Age of Empires was a good one.
All right, Korgoth, any honorables?
Honorables, Golden Tee.
Golden. Wow, the golf game.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Golden
Arcade.
and you took a hard left turn.
No,
Golden
no.
Tee.
GoldenEye sucked. Yeah.
I don't disagree, but there's gonna be some angry comments.
I don't care. That game sucked.
Okay. I will say I walked into
Wow.
like a retro video game store. I believe that's on Hewitt, and they had it loaded up, and I picked up the controller and I played, and damn, that thing was like horrible to control.
Yeah, had to
Like
put
without
it down.
without two sticks, fuck, it's hard to move around. Like,
Okay, Sean. Okay, Sean. Like, how is
here we go.
GoldenEye? How was that?
Fights.
Why do you think it sucks?
I'm just wondering who Sean is. This is Korgoth.
yeah, you're giving out a
or-
secret identity.
I did what
Oh,
you
fuck,
usually do.
Korgoth.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking
I knew
about,
what you
bro.
did, so
I don't know
bad.
who's Sean. There's no Sean.
Oh, live studio audience. It's Sean. Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, there's Sean. Hey!
Korgoth, I'm sorry. Why did that game suck for you? Or why do you think that game sucks? What specifically?
The graphics sucked. The gameplay sucked.
Everything on the N64 sucked graphically.
Well,
T-Crawler, you don't like it when people ask you to
Yeah.
answer for
We-
your
we-
comments.
we make you-
He's
I make you-
entitled.
you're like, how
He
dare
is
us?
entitled
No,
to his
you're-
How dare
opinion.
both of you? You both. No, not you. Not so much you. I take that back.
he stayed on Atari.
How dare you? Because you always tell me I'm wrong and then ask me questions. I didn't say he was wrong. I just wanted to know why for him it was.
I just
sucked.
You
couldn't
seem like you
stand
think
the
he's
game.
wrong.
No, I just wonder why he's
Why he's wrong?
No.
You want to say it. Just fucking say
Why he
it.
thinks
It'll
it sucked.
feel good.
No, I'm not like
It's
you.
okay if he thinks
Just
that.
to
Let
let
him
you
have
know.
his opinion.
Yeah.
It was a toss-up between Skyward
Korgoth,
and
I support
Grand
your
Theft
opinion.
5, so
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
but why
Alright,
does
alright.
GoldenEye suck? Fucking say it.
Well, he said the graphics sucked, the gameplay sucked.
The
I mean,
gameplay did.
for him. I mean, I get it. I just wondered why. That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
No,
You
if
got
I wanted
really
to walk
heated.
around a game with a little stick in front of me, pointing it at people, and
It was
come
the
on.
first. Well, one of the first Doom or what was it?
Doom
Castle
was-
Wolfenstein.
Hey,
Oh.
Oh,
Doom and Castle Wolfenstein. I mean, come on, like those
Wolfenstein.
graphics were.
Okay.
They were pretty bad, but yeah.
how dare you?
Everything's bad back in fucking
was. I mean.
Asteroids was bad. Like,
Oh, I got one more honorable mention. 64 South Park.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
No.
South Park on N64.
let me tell you why that one sucked.
Says
All
who?
the chickens.
All the chickens.
Too many
You
fucking
can throw a
chickens.
cow on somebody's head. It's pretty funny.
Are we done with this? Are
Yes,
we
we're
moving on?
done.
He's like, can we stop talking about video games?
Checking,
Shit.
man.
Okay,
All right,
last
next
honorable
segment.
we got
mention.
one last honorable mention. I guess
Okay.
that's something to say.
Yeah.
Fable.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
That,
I had,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Fair enough. I don't even know.
Yeah, I was saying, you don't even know.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You're like, sure.
I agree, 100%. So our next segment.
Rebel.
Oh, okay.
Back to the pile.
Our next segment is this or that. Now, Korgoth, we need you to come up with a sound or a noise or a word. Have you got one?
Good. Let's go.
Okay, here we go.
We're gonna say it fast. All of us are gonna go.
We're gonna go into the speed force on this one, folks.
We're gonna go to 21:55.
We're getting ready to go. Here we go. This.
or
that.
This.
or
We got to get faster, folks. Come on, man. Here we go. We're going to give it one more try. This.
or.
That.
Oh, my
That was a
God.
good sound. Keep staying with
Yeah.
Yeah, come on,
You
man.
had it. You sounded like the Home Improvement dude.
That's what
That's
Is that
what it
you
was,
did?
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Nice try, everybody.
try
Oh, we're one more time. Here we go. This.
Or
That.
Dope.
Okay, here we go.
It's 90 sitcoms. Gonna make the Seinfeld noise next.
Number one, folks. You are strong in the Force. You got that much so far?
Mm-hmm.
Do you take the path of the Jedi or turn to the dark side and become a Sith Lord?
Definitely the dark side.
dark
Yeah,
side.
Sith. Hard. Yeah.
Side.
Yeah.
This
Seriously.
is so much more fun.
I want to shoot
I'm gonna
like
be a
Too
Jedi.
many rules in the light, like for Jedi in the council.
mean-
and that. You got too many rules.
I'm
What
going
do
to
you
be a
got? What do
Jedi.
you got? Open it up. For those of you who can't tell, if you're listening to the audio, Korgoth just opened up his shirt, and I'm looking at a powerful chest, rocking a T-shirt that is a play on Pulp Fiction and the Star Wars.
Little
got
Darth.
Little Darth, little Boba Fett.
Little Boba Fett.
Look at that.
Nice.
Gains, bruh.
Sweet.
Open it up. Yeah.
Sweet.
There we go. All right. Yeah, dark side. You have more powers, more abilities. You can do things,
And you just don't care.
and you
Right.
and you don't have to be a virgin. So
It's a report for that guy.
I'm just saying.
All right,
What do you got?
I already said the Jedi, man. Okay. All right. Number two. Would you rather live in a society where people can live for an incredibly long period of time? This would require that the birth of new children would be extremely limited, almost never happening, or continue with your normal lifespans.
Wait, hang on. Say that again.
I live for a very long time.
Live for yeah. What was it? So
You're going to live for an extreme. You can live for an
Extremely long.
extremely long period of time, which would mean that we couldn't have children anymore, or it'd be extremely limited because people don't want to die, and so, or do you want to just continue the way we do with our normal lifespans?
I don't like kids. I want to live forever. Yeah, I want to live forever.
Yeah.
You have kids.
I know.
I like kids. I like kids, but I want to.
He's having second thoughts. He's got buyer's remorse. I'm going to go with my normal lifespan.
All right.
Yeah, it's enough for me. It's not all about me. Let me tell you, folks. Number three. Have we all made our decisions?
Yeah.
we? All right.
Far off. No,
Number
he said,
three.
No, he said live forever.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Oh,
right.
live forever.
Live forever, yeah.
Okay. If you were a superhero, would you rather have a secret lair that almost nobody knew the location of, or a huge headquarters building?
Secret lair.
Huge.
Me too. Me too.
Huge headquarters building.
Hey, Tony
You want a
Stark.
huge headquarters?
Yes.
I mean, look at
All
this
right.
guy. He's like Tony Stark.
Nice.
He let everybody know who he was.
It would have my name on it. It would have a picture of me doing the fucking the pose.
my
Of
gosh.
course.
Yeah,
Of course.
Make good sounds.
Mal Towers.
Yes. Mal Tower. Yes. Fucking. Oh. You know me so well.
Oh, jeez.
All right, number 4, folks. Would you rather be part of a team made up of heroes more powerful than you, or be the most powerful member of a team and constantly have to help, save, and generally make up for the other's lack of ability?
Powerful, right?
Powerful, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're constantly running back, saving everybody, and oh my God, this guy's falling back
Or-
again.
or
I
could
gotta
it be
save
like-
him.
he didn't
Or do you
know because he didn't say like everyone's more powerful than me, but I'm like smarter and shit. He just said everyone's more powerful.
You should just assume that you're smart.
I
Be
assume
like
you're Batman in this scenario, but he didn't
No, you don't.
specify.
Don't
He
make
didn't
them.
specify.
Don't start adding
That's
your
what I'm
own
saying.
take on this.
That's what I'm saying.
You're
You did
just
it.
the weakest
That's
link.
what I'm saying.
Yet you don't have to
So-
run around making up for anybody
That's what
because
I'm
So
saying.
you're like the Deep.
you're Hawkeye.
You're Hawkeye. There
You're
we
the
go.
dude,
No. Then fuck that. If I'm not like the smartest one who's building them out, I'm gonna be the most powerful.
Yeah, I gotta be the most powerful. Also, that scenario.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice, folks. Number 5. Would you rather be a member of the Avengers or the X-Men? Which character and why?
You couldn't give me Justice League. You couldn't.
Ooh.
I would have to say X-Men.
Who? But what character?
Which
Wolverine.
character and why? Wolverine. Okay. Why?
You could heal. You could damn near never die.
This is hard.
It is hard.
I'm torn between two right now.
Question.
Well, I'll tell you what. Most people would think too, and I would think myself would be my go-to as Wolverine. But I'm going Thor because he's the god of thunder, and he's awesome. And that's about all you need to know.
So, real talk, I'm torn between Wolverine and Thor.
And with
I
somebody else,
want to point out Wolverine's been a member of both the X-Men and the Avengers, but that's not. It's really just who you want to be. I want to be the God of Thunder, so fuck it, Thor.
Okay.
Because you're
Crawler.
damn
Who you gonna
near
be?
never gonna die. I won't ever die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But you can lose an eye.
That's fine. Well played.
Wow, this is a tough one. Man, I don't even know. I'm torn between. Honestly, I'm torn between. It's obviously Spider-Man and.
It doesn't
Xavier.
have to be the hardest decision of your life. You can. I mean, it's okay.
I'm gonna. I'll go with the X-Men and Professor Xavier.
So you're just
Nice. That's a good
control.
one.
Nice.
so you don't want to walk anymore.
Mind control.
You're handy
Have
capable.
people get stuff for me. People do stuff for me. Like,
No, for real, if it wasn't the being like in a wheelchair, like his
it's a
powers
cool
are
wheelchair.
amazing.
The thing floats, like it hovers. It's pretty cool. There was a time when he walked, so maybe I'm Xavier when he walked.
Okay, I'm Thor, so I'm gonna make you Xavier when you're not walking.
You get close enough, I'll mind control you.
Isn't that Stephen
Make
Hawking?
you and Hulk do certain things to each other.
Wow. Okay, that took to a dark place.
Oh,
that
boy.
was this or that. Hey, we have contests and stuff to talk about.
Oh, we got. Well, hold on.
Nom nom. For those of you listening on the audio, Weapon 2 is drinking the rest of his brown water because there's a way we do things on this show. There's an order to things.
All right, folks. We got some big news. If anybody's been following us and our Facebook page, you will know that we have reached over 200 subscribers on the YouTube, which was that next goal we were trying to reach.
Hey, round of applause for ourselves.
Yes, way to go. And everybody that's a subscriber.
everybody who's subscribed,
And everybody
probably,
in the TWG
Most-
Nation.
That's
Mostly
right.
them.
Yes, more so them. I'm going to announce our winner, right?
Yep, do it. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, do it.
Our winner is Justin Duffy.
Justin
Duffy.
Duffy.
Justin
Yeah.
Duffy is our winner.
Congratulations.
Yes, way to go, Justin. So we are currently putting together our package of wonderful treasures and collectible, delightful, wonderful items, and we're going to film a video of us packing that box. And I believe that Justin has agreed to film a video of him opening the box and showing
photos.
all the
Yep.
wonderful things that we gave him. So that being said, our next goal is 300, folks. I mean, the thing about getting more and more subscribers is once you reach a goal, there's always the next one. So we want everybody to continue to let everybody know about us and make sure that you go to all the people that want to have fun and enjoy life and be happy. They can go to our YouTube channel, to this most recent podcast. They can comment with their name. Now, this is important, folks, because we've run into this a time or two.
Yeah.
If we don't know who you are, we can't contact you and give you stuff.
So
okay?
here's the problem. If you just subscribe, unless you have your profile set to public, we can't see who you are. We can't even see like your YouTube name or whatever. So when I go to look at who is subscribing to us, I can't see everybody, which means I don't have everybody to enter into this contest.
So you have to make sure that you comment and let us know who you are. So when we go to do our next giveaway, we have everybody's name and we can know who to contact. Right? Is that right,
Exactly.
Captain? Mel?
And don't fret. Like those that did not win this time, you're still in the contest.
Everybody that's ever subscribed
yeah,
is
still
in
have
every
chances to win.
contest. Okay.
Every single time. It's literally, I have an app and I hit random and it just picks a name and that's how you win. So the cool thing is when you see this next video of Duffy opening, of Justin opening his box, you'll see the cool stuff you're going to get. And this is going to encourage you to share our page and to spread the word, to get to 300 sooner. That way the opportunity for you to win cool shit is going to happen faster, including, but not limited to, the brand new TWG logo t-shirt drawn by that man right there. That's Weapon 2 waving, kids, if you're listening on Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, it's me right over here, everybody. So I'm going to put like every time, I'm going to put the directions on our Facebook page so you can read them carefully. And we just want to make sure that we know who everybody is, that you share this with anybody else that might want to subscribe and take part in our next giveaway. And have fun and enjoy life, because that's the most important part, right? And we also, our main hub for all of the stuff going on is our website, which is theworldsgreatest.net. T-Crawler and I both have a blog. In the last installment of my blog, it's all about Norwegians cloning, alien invasion. There's a little bit of Space Force involved in this. It's pretty exciting, folks. And, geez, I don't know what else to say. Is there anything else we should say about this?
Before this episode gets posted, we are going to post on the Facebooks and probably the Grams. I don't know if Webmaster is going to do that or not, but probably. And we're going to let you know what the countdown is going to be for this episode ahead of time, because we want to know what your top 5 is going to be. We want you to comment and compare it. That way you can follow along with us. And
Play along, folks.
Yes, we want more interactivity. We want you to post on this page, Facebook, wherever, what your top 5 would be. And if you completely disagree with us, let us know. Sound off in the comments.
Love the comments. Please.
So make your list, huddle up together next to your listening and or viewing device, and play along, kids.
And I really want to know, San Andreas or GTA 5, which one's better? Like, I really want to know.
GTA 5.
You know what? You're wrong. Why did I let you in here?
And there's one more thing to mention. That's that we got our Patreon. We have 3 levels. We got a $3, $5, and $10 level. We'd really appreciate. We put out a video on there that's just basically telling you that all of our equipment costs money, and we always want to upgrade so we can have a better video and audio quality for everybody who enjoys what we're doing.
Nice.
Anything else? Are we all done, folks?
I believe we're done with the plugs. Korgoth, did you have a good time?
Absolutely.
Would you be willing to come back?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this right now, and I mean this. I'm going to have you back before Kalel.
Oh, no.
I love you, Kalel. Just kidding. What was up, T-Crawler? You got something?
No, I'm good, man.
We good?
Awesome, yeah.
All right, closing thoughts, anybody?
That's it. This was fun, folks.
No, Korgoth, thank you for joining
Blast.
us. We had a great
Thank you.
time. We hope you come back. And to all of you, thank you for joining us on this episode of the world's greatest news and reviews. If you've enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications.
Ding!
Peace.